It is 3 o'clock. It is the 10th day of September 2021, and I am the tabletop role-playing game Love Train that is known as the OGGM, a voice of reason in the whirlwind of the world of role-playing. Okay, so occasionally I like to go off on really bizarre tangents. And this is one of those really bizarre tangents. So I have no proof whatsoever. This is 100% speculative fiction. It's just me goofing around. It's just me throwing ideas at a wall and going, what if? What if the Avengers were zombies? What if? So occasionally I like to do this, and we're going to do this right now. So again, there was no truth to this whatsoever. I have no information to make me believe this is honest. This is just a 1% in a million chance that this could actually be a thing, and what if it was? So again, go with me here, but I understand I'm just making this up. But what if? What if 5e Planescape has already happened and we just didn't notice? What if 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Planescape / Spelljammer has already happened and we just haven't noticed? Okay, again, go with me here. No proof whatsoever. This is 100% just speculative fishing, just bullshitting, just reaching as deep as I can into the conspiracy bucket of Dungeons & Dragons. Okay, so going off the Forgotten Realms is now canon. Forgotten Realms is the sacred timeline of 5th edition D&D. Right. So we know that there's Ebberon, which is another plane, a demi-plane, that is somehow connected to, though not a part, of the Forgotten Realms. We know there's Theros and Ravenica and Strixhaven from the magic side of Wizards of the Coast, which again are separate universes, separate planes that are somehow connected to the Forgotten Realms, but not part of the Forgotten Realms. We know that there's Ravenloft, which is, again, separate entity, completely has nothing to do with the Forgotten Realms, but is also somehow connected to the Forgotten Realms. It's a separate dimension. And now we have this Feywild book coming out, where we're introducing another separate universe with its own separate rules and laws, completely unique to itself, but also somehow connected to the Forgotten Realms. In addition, we have characters now appearing in the Forgotten Realms who, up till now, were part of other universes. For example, Mordekainen and Tasha, who we have now found out is secretly always Igly. How's that rub you guys? Your poster child for wokeness, Tasha, was actually an evil witch. Yeah, we'll get into that one some other time. So these are Greyhawk individuals who are now somehow part of the Forgotten Realms and always have been. We also have Vecna, who's a Greyhawk character who is now part of the Forgotten Realms. We have a Sarasak, who is another lich from a different universe, who is now part of the core Forgotten Realms. We have Warduke and the other characters, Emericle, and all these guys from the 80s cartoon and the 80s comics and the 80s action figure line, who are now somehow, through the manifications of the Feywild, now part of the Forgotten Realms. We have characters from Dragonlance, like Paladine and Fizzgig and Takisha, or whatever his name is. The Tiamat chick, who are now part of the Forgotten Realms, or will be when the Dragon book comes out. Fizzbig's Guide to Dragons now states that, Fizzbin has always been in the Forgotten Realms. And Paladadium, has always been in the Forgotten Realms. And Takisha, so Mordekainen, always there. Tasha, she's always been there, but she's also somehow connected to the Feywild. So here are all these little other planes or other plane planets, other realities that are connected to the Forgotten Realms, and yet not part of the Forgotten Realms. So what if this is how we're getting 5e Planescape? It's already happening. They just haven't said it. What if down the pike, sometime in 2022, they pull out the rug from under our feet and go, bam, here is the book or the module that connects all those. And maybe, even more weird speculation, maybe it has something to do with the weird black monoliths that have appeared in almost every module and adventure for 5th edition since day one. There's been speculation about the weird black monoliths. There was some revelation about the weird black monoliths in Rime of the Frost Maiden, but it's still been this running mystery throughout 5th edition. What are these weird black monoliths? What do they have to do with the canon D&D story, or are they just a big red herring? So what if this is Planescape? This is how they're doing Planescape. They're doing it in a weird backwards way, so we don't notice, and then sometime in 2022, or maybe going into the build-up to 50th anniversary in 2023, 2024, Wizards of the Coast pulls the rug out from under us and goes, bam! Here's the book that explains how all these things are connected, and actually, you've had Planescape this whole time. You've had a way to travel through between these different planes, whether it be the Black Monoliths or some other way. This is why characters from Greyhawk are now part and partial canon to the Forgotten Realms. This is why characters from Dragonlance are now part and partial canon to the Forgotten Realms. This is why characters from an 80s cartoon and an 80s action figure line now exist and are real characters. We're acknowledging our own social media memes into real breathing individuals because, bam, Planescape, it's actually been happening the whole time. You guys just didn't notice. What if? And what if it has also, because, we have this thing where Tasha, who played such an important role in the recent changes to the way Dungeons and Dragons is perceived and all the whole thing about, inclusion and stuff like that. And now we find out, Tasha really wasn't a good guy. She's actually been this horrible witch this whole time and has been messing with us. What if that tells another story? What if everything in Tasha's was a lie that Iglig was telling us to further her evil plans, which will, of course, also play out in this Feywild book? And what if it's all building up to some cross-planar catastrophe that explains why Mordekainen and Vecna and Paladine and Warduke and characters from Ebberon and Strahd are all interacting with the Forgotten Realms? What if this has been 5th edition Planescape all along, and Wizards of the Coast is going to drop this huge bomb on us sometime in next year or the year after, going into the 50th anniversary, where they just go, bam! Here's Planescape. We actually gave it to you the whole time. You just didn't realize it. You've actually had the ability to do this the whole time. You just didn't realize it. You've been looking at it backwards, but if you look at it from the other point of view, ever since we introduced Ravinica and Ebberon, you've actually had other planes. You've actually had the ability to travel to and from these other planes, but we never officially called it Planescape, but it's been Planescape this whole time. What if? Mind blown, I know, and you probably think I'm smoking crap. And again, this is 100% speculative fiction, storytelling bullshit. I have no actual proof that this is true. This is just me spinning my brain, wondering, because this is how I'd do it. This is how I would have done it. If I had any say in how Wizards of the Coast does anything, and I don't, this is how I would have done this story. This is how I would have explained Tasha and Iglig. This is how I would have explained Mordekainen being in the Forgotten Realms, and Dragonlance characters being in the Forgotten Realms, and Mordu characters from 80s cartoons being in the Forgotten Realms, pop culture meme references now being in the Forgotten Realms, like Thaco the Clown. It'd be this very Matrixy layers within layers. Bam, it's been Planescape the whole time. What if? What do you think? I mean, I know, yes, it's 100 bullshit, but what do you think? Could this, in some alternate world, actually be what's happening? I know it's not, because Wizards of the Coast is not that clever, but what if? What if? So this has just been some speculative Friday goofiness from the RPG love train that is the OGGM. If you want to hear more of this, let me know. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you think I should shut up, let me know. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let me know that you love me and help me hit 1,000 subs. Till next time, I'll talk to you, because I'm reasonable now. Get off my land.